As many of you probably know, if you got an old car like this, the project is never done. So welcome back. We're also with Walker Custom Garage. Today I'm here with Boneshaker, and just looking at this thing you can kind of see that it doesn't look much like a truck. Yeah, it's got a bed on it and the cab, but one thing that I don't like about this thing is it just looks like a cab with an engine. The rear end is kind of lacking. I mean, I like the bed, I like how it's set up, but it just doesn't look like a truck. And I've been racking my brain trying to think about it, about how I want to do this to kind of give it a little bit more flair, and I think I've come up with an idea. Now, a lot of you probably have seen this on other vehicles before, so it'll come as no surprise, but basically what I think I'm wanting to do, just kind of like a fenced sides, with, you know, a good wood, something that we can put the grain into and try and match the bed a little bit. I have my measurements all planned out here, but sort of build a fence for the sides and then go ahead and make some brackets. I'm gonna have to make my own brackets. I haven't found anything that will fit properly. So 3 brackets bolted in on the sides, 41 inches across, 16 inches high on both sides. I'm not going to do anything for the back, and I don't think I'm going to worry about a sort of tailgate or anything like that. This is just mostly for aesthetics, but I think it will also help it be a little bit functional. If I ever haul anything, or need to throw a tire or a gas can or something in the back, then the sides should keep it from falling out like a normal truck bed. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do, but I got to go get some wood. So I've got my wood here. I've got everything marked out to what I need. Got one board with spaced 16 inches. I got 6 pieces all the way across. I should have 1 inch left over. Then I've got 2 boards, both marked out for 41 inches, and I'll have a 15-inch piece both left over. But I'm going to go ahead and get these pieces cut. Then afterwards I can mock everything up and clamp everything down to where I want it. That way I'll be able to drill some holes for the bolts to connect all this stuff together. After that's finished, I'll come back and we'll put some character into the wood, sand it down a little bit, and then go ahead and put on some of this polyurethane, try to make it match the bed of the truck, and try to get that wet look. Here it is all put together. Got all my bolts and the nuts run through and tightened down. So it looks pretty good, I think. So my next goal is to take all this stuff apart. I have to keep it in order. I have to make sure that each one of these go back the way that it came. So I'll put some tape on there or something, but my next step is to go ahead and burn the wood, put some character in it. After I get that done, I'll sand it down, apply the polyurethane, try to get it to look as wet as I possibly can. Right, I got everything taken apart, and this is basically what I'm going for right here. It's darker in some areas, it's lighter in other areas, and then when I get done sanding, it's really going to lighten this up a little bit. So I have all my pieces marked where they're supposed to go, and what I've got to do this is just a basic at-home propane torch for plumbing, basic plumbing, and that works pretty good. So I'm just going to take and burn the wood, bring out as much character as I can, especially over the knots and just the interesting parts of the wood. I've got all my boards and everything sanded down. It's looking pretty nice. I just knocked some of the roughness off there. I didn't get too crazy with it. I wanted to keep as much character in there as possible. So now I'm going to take some acetone and get this cleaned up. It's still pretty gritty. I'm just going to try and get as much of that grit out as possible. Once I get done with that, let it dry for a few minutes, and then I'll come back with the polyurethane and put on about 3 coats. Try to get it as wet as I possibly can, and when it dries it should be a little bit darker than this. Starting with the polyurethane, and I got this one, the first coat on here, and it's still wet, so it's going to soak into the board. But that's essentially what it's going to look like when it's all said and done. Like I said, it's going to soak in, so it's not going to be as glossy. It's going to have more of a matte finish. So I'm going to go ahead and coat all these with the first coat, and probably do it a total of 3 times, and then we'll let it dry, flip it over, do it again. I'll show you what it looks like and get it all assembled. So I've got my final coat of polyurethane on the wood, and it's setting up drying right now. So we're going to leave that for about a day. And in the meantime, I've got a couple pieces here of just, I think it's 18 gauge sheet metal that I've got cut out to make my brackets. I've got them marked out, and basically what I'm going to do is, if you can see, I'm just going to make a cut about halfway through the material, like so, and then I'll go ahead and bend this to a 90-degree angle on both sides. Then I'll flip it over, and I've got this side marked. I'll go ahead and cut along this line, same way, halfway through, and then bend it again, and that should give me my bracket. Alright, so I got this one done. This is what the bracket's going to look like, and it should just fit right around this board here. Flush up against what would be the bed, and that's just basically it right there. So now all I'll have to do is weld the areas that I cut into, just to make it a little bit sturdy. Drill a few holes, that way I can bolt it into the bed and hold up that bedside. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one cut and bent, and then I'm gonna go ahead and weld them up. So as you can see, I got all 6 pieces done. I had a little bit of time at work. We're a little bit slow, so I took this stuff to work and just did it there. Then I went ahead and sandblasted it. Everything came out pretty good. So you can see there's just a little weld on the inside there. That should keep it from bending in any way. Welded it completely on the outside. And all of them are kind of like that. So now I just need to drill my holes, and then I can get the stuff painted and go ahead and get those sides on the bed. Alright, got these done. They look pretty good. All put together, the hardware and everything bolted together. This side too, looking really good. Nice and shiny, looks super wet. The high gloss polyurethane. So now I'm just working on painting my brackets, and then we'll get this installed on Boneshaker. I've got it jacked up right now because I've got to replace the brake light switch. It's a spring type, and it's not working right. It's kind of intermittent, so I can't really drive it until I get that fixed. And what I got here is the switch type, so I had to modify it a little bit, but this should work. So I'm gonna get this done real quick, get started on the bed sides. All right, just got the brake switch hooked up. Now, moment of truth, here we go. Should be able to see, oh, here it goes. Hey, all right, that works. Wow, barely put any pressure on it whatsoever, and it works, so that's good. So this is what I had on there before. It's just a spring type. I took the spring off of here. I think it went right there. I ended up using that spring for some tension on the brake pedal because it was just a little bit too loose, but it seems to be working good now. We'll get these hooked up real quick. Need to drill holes for these brackets, get them spaced out and everything. But we'll get to it in a minute. Got to get these tires off. Well, I got the first bracket on, and it looks pretty good. Everything worked out pretty good. It's holding it in there pretty tight. I was a little bit worried about that. And it's a little nerve-wracking drilling into this, making sure that I get everything right, because I don't want to do it over again. I don't want to have to patch any holes or anything, but that turned out good. Well, there you have it. That's one side, tire on and everything. That's what it's going to look like. I think it looks pretty good. Looks more like a truck than it did before, so now I just got to get the other side done. This is all finished. I think that looks great. Matches the bed pretty good. This side's on, looking good. Got the brake light switch fixed. It works really good. I'm glad I got that switched out. No pun intended. It's kind of dark out, but I don't care. I'm ready to take this thing for a spin. I think I owe you guys one anyway. Before I get too far, there is one very important thing that I forgot. Check this out, guys. Walker Custom Garage sticker. Now we're all set to go. Let me know if you guys want one down in the comment section. Sitting in the parking lot at Jack in the Box waiting for my food. But there it is. That's what it looks like. Finally got it done. Looks good. Looks like a truck is supposed to look.
So there you have it. Successful drive this morning to work, and on the way back I had to make a pit stop at Airgas to exchange my bottle for the first time in a real truck. So looks good. Got a lot of compliments, a lot of thumbs up. Love driving this thing because everybody takes notice. But on the way back, even took it on the highway. That was the first time it's ever been on the highway. It handled pretty good. RPMs are up there quite a ways. Probably has a lot to do with the 3600 stall converter, and then the rear end gears I think are 373 gears, 372, something like that. That plays a large factor, but yeah, I had it up to 80. So ran pretty good, handled pretty good, about as good as you could expect on these bad Oklahoma roads, but some are smoother than others, and I like that drive. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about the new bed? Let me know. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.